gamer goggles, and we're at the Modiphius Entertainment booth with What's up, booth? With Chris Birch. That's where I was getting the beat. And we are going to talk about everything Modiphius Entertainment, primarily starting with Star Trek behind us, which is their new exciting news. And if I understand correctly, it is when is beta going to start?
Well, basically, it's going to start in September. So you can sign up at Gen Con. You can sign up online in a couple of weeks. I mean, if you join our mailing list for Star Trek on modiphius.com/star-trek, you'll get an invite as soon as the playtest starts, and then that will kick off. You'll get your first playtest pack later in September. You can play it at home, in your gaming group, in the local store, wherever you want. You play it online on one of the online systems. So it's really up to you. And then it's going to be a whole living campaign. There's a whole story to discover. And there's 4 different ships you might get assigned to. One which is in the old Kirk era, and then 3 others which are in the next generation era, based off this one space station. And there's a big storyline to find out about. And each ship is going to have a different perspective, because one is going to get a bit more science missions, a bit more combat missions, or a bit more diplomacy, exploration.
All attention, Gen Con attendees. Joking Hazard is now being demoed at Breaking Games booth 1749. Get yours now.
The voice of God.
Sometimes you gotta wait.
Yeah.
It's a busy place.
Yeah.
That's a really cool idea to do that that way.
Yeah, so we're going to let them talk on the forum, so you can get, one crew might be like, hey, we were on this planet and this thing happened, and then this other crew might go, wait a minute, we just captured this ship and they were at this planet and they took this stuff, and then so you're going to piece together some of the clues, because of course you could also.
So it's local role playing with world role playing.
Yeah.
That's really going to capture that feel of the Federation's back on Earth and you're out in space.
Yeah, and you are really out on this kind of wild frontier in the playtest. Of course, once the actual game starts, you can play anywhere. You could be the Enterprise, you could be DS9, you could be on Voyager if you want. You could be on your own ship, lost in space. You can do anything you want in the show. We're just starting with the playtest in a quite defined area, so we can control that storyline and give people a very specific experience, so we can test the rules. Because of course we want to find out, do you think the phaser works like it should work? Does flying a ship feel like you're flying a Star Trek ship? Does it feel like, is it fun being part of the crew? Is it fun being a science officer? Is it fun being engineering? Because you can't just, we want to highlight their part of the ship, their role, and make sure they have an awesome time.
Red shirt.
There's a lot of red shirts.
I bet there are.
Yeah.
It's got to be fun to play a red shirt. I mean,
of course, yeah.
It's got to be. I mean, you're gonna die, and you know it. It's like you can write your story as dramatic as you want, as long as your GM, lets you. So there can be a lot of fun being a red shirt.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
And the idea is we want to be able to let you play young cadets or ensigns who are literally like fresh out of the school, or captains of the ship, whole heads of departments. So you're going to have different experiences like that as well.
And it's going to encompass everything, storyline. Is it going to encompass the novels too? Or is that kind of off limits yet?
Well, it covers all the shows and the films, but not the new Abrams films. So it's everything from Star Trek Classic all the way through to Voyager, and actually the animation series as well, and all the films, the original Kirk films and the Picard films. So it's a very wide area as well. And a lot of the novels obviously it's all been part of the canon now as well, but we're trying to kind of focus on the core canon, which is the films and TV. Just keep things simple to start with.
And there's a lot of shows to cover, so how are you going to break that down in like a release schedule?
Well, we're not trying to kind of detail every show in the book, because if you're a Star Trek fan, you've probably seen them all. Obviously, it's like people are going to want to know, well, if I want to play that episode, what's the stats for this thing, So we will introduce campaigns that go through that. We've got quadrant books that talk about like the Alpha Quadrant, so you'll get the Vulcans and Romulans and new Starfleet alien races. The core book has a number of alien races who are members of Starfleet already, but we can't put every single one in because there's a lot. And so we're going to gradually build it out with the books. You'll be able to get division books like Command and Operations that really expand on character creation for people in those divisions and gives the GM a lot more material to work with, a lot more plot seeds and guidance on how to make people in those divisions have a much more awesome time as well. So we're going to gradually build on it, and then you'll have big campaigns that come out for the people who really want kind of written campaigns, but they're going to be much more of a kind of plot point type campaigns, not like this linear do this and then you go here and then here. It's much like a kind of, well, there's stuff all over here that they can go to, and probably if they visit through these places they'll find out the clues they need, so we're trying to make it much more of a voyage that people can go on themselves and they don't feel like railroaded.
So it's going to be very open-ended.
Yeah.
Like space.
Final Frontier.
The everlasting frontier.
Yeah,
definitely. So it's coming out with minis.
Coming out with minis, there's sets of 10 figures. So like the Enterprise D crew, Kirk, bridge crew, Romulan, Borders, Klingon, away teams. So there'll be all these different sets that you can get. And we're also doing these really cool floor tiles. So of course, if you want to use minis with your role-playing game, it's great. You don't have to. Some people like, some people don't like. But we've also got this rule set within the rule book, the RPG book, which is like maybe the group didn't turn up and just you and me go, well, why don't you be the Klingons and attack my ship, and we'll use my floor plans of the Enterprise, and we'll just play a quick battle.
Boarding party!
Yeah, exactly. And we could have like 20, 30 figures aside, or just half a dozen, and so it means we can have these fun little games using the same rule set that's simpler, and get to use our minis and have a quick game. So it doesn't have to be like a full role-playing group all the time.
So in the first batch of minis, roughly how many are there going to be? About 100?
Difficult to say at the moment. Each month we'll bring out more sets, but there'll probably be like 4 or 5 sets in the first month.
Okay,
just
so 4 or 5 crews, which might be as many as 50.
Yeah, and there'll be like a generic bridge crew for people who don't really want a figure that looks like
Kirk or Picard.
Yeah, or Riker.
Kirk looks better right now.
Yeah.
He's got more action.
Yeah, that's true. But the old classic Kirk, the flick back.
Well, I haven't painted him yet, so once I paint Picard, that might change.
Yeah, and the original Kirk, kissed Uhura. It was that classic interracial kiss on TV. It was amazing. So, so there's going to be a lot of choice on the miniatures and, the floor tiles and, the accessories for the game. There's like card decks that,
card decks.
that bring certain elements of the game to life. You don't need them, but it might make it easier for you to play as well. Custom dice, of course. It's D20s, but we've got to do a dice with the Federation symbol on and stuff. So,
of course.
Yeah.
And a Klingon symbol and a Romulan symbol.
And then maybe the red dice and yellow dice and blue dice.
Someday. So how does the game deal with things like space anomalies? Like
well, it becomes a science problem-solving exercise. So there's a lot more problem-solving in the game, and it's not just like roll 1 dice and you fixed it. It's like, okay, this is like.
All right, guys, we're back. And we're going to talk about Christy's board game with the Airfix system, and it's just battles?
Airfix Battles. So
okay.
Airfix is a bit like Revel in America, so it's like model aeroplanes, plastic soldiers, and I grew up with Airfix in England, like plastic tanks and plastic soldiers playing battles. And I remember the day I said to my neighbour Johnny, we were like making machine gun sounds and knocking figures over. I was like, wait a minute, why don't we roll a dice, and that's how many figures you get to kill. And then it was like, but tanks could roll 3 dice, but you can't kill my commander. He's got like 5 lives or whatever. And then we came up with all these rules. And so this is like a kind of tribute to that, really. It's like, wouldn't it be great to have a system that you could give to your kids to play with their plastic soldiers, but it's a really awesome war game, and it plays in like half an hour to an hour, It's got everything it needs in one box. So it comes with all the counters that you need for the infantry, for the tanks, the scenery. It plays on double-sided maps, and but you can replace the counters with your plastic tanks, with your plastic infantry. And I wanted it to feel like I'd played a war game in under an hour, rather than sometimes we don't have 6 hours to set up the trees and fields, and it's awesome. I love playing big war games, but I don't always have 6 hours to play a proper game. And this plays really quick, and it's $30. It's like cheap.
It's a pretty good price point.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're selling it for here. So obviously it might be different in shops, but it's a really good. I mean, in the UK it's £25. So it's, with the old Brexit, that's not much in dollars now. It's
about the same.
Yeah. It's maybe like it's around $30. So and the game plays with dice and command cards and unit cards. So basically you have different cards for your units. So red are tanks.
Oh, color-coded.
Yeah. Orange is commanders. Green is like infantry and guns. Purple are special units that go with your commanders. And it's super easy because you have color coding on the cards that tells you what the commanders can take. So you don't have complicated force lists. It's just like, okay, this guy is lieutenant, American lieutenant, can have 1 2-star, he must have 1 2-star infantry unit, and he can have another 1 or 2-star infantry unit. And any special rules are on the cards, how they move, how they, we have this one dice called a war dice number. So you roll the same dice to fight, to save yourself if you've been hit, and to roll your morale test. And it's very, very easy to play. Any certain special rules you need on the cards. We also use the cards to show you morale, so that's your standard. If you get pinned, you turn the card, it says pinned, you turn the card again, it's retreating. And the rules teach you how to play over a course of 10 missions. So you read the rules, it says go and play mission 1. Okay, now you're going to learn about tanks. Go and play mission 3. Now we're going to learn about this, go and play mission 4. Okay, now you're ready, and just play through the rest of the campaign. There's another bonus 10 missions based on Operation Cobra, the breakout from Normandy, that you can download from the website if you join up to our mailing list. And we're bringing out more expansions like this game. This box includes some cool double-sided maps, so we're bringing out more maps. So as you can see, we've got some fun. So you got like a German checkpoint printed on that.
Oh, nice.
So this is all kind of, the idea is it's just nice looking terrain, but if you put a counter on it, it means something. So if you put a counter here, it means it's rough terrain, or cover. We've got various tiles that you put down representing ruined buildings that might be cover, or hedges, and forests and things.
So the maps can change?
Yeah. And then you've got 2 double-sided, so you can have long maps, wide maps, and there's more maps coming.
That's a pretty good idea.
You also have command cards. So if you know Memoir 44, you have that range of cards that you can play. Move infantry on your left, move armor in your middle, center. So we have more. This is much more tactical depth. It's much more. Whereas Memoir is, his game. I love it. It's fantastic. It's like a bigger battle. Whereas this is much more drilled down on a few squads and a few tanks. And these command cards, you have a certain number depending on your commander's ability.
Okay.
So each turn you draw some, and you can always move or fire or reinforce, like get a new unit onto the board with this card. However, the fun stuff is on the back. And for example, this one lets you fire with one unit, then one different infantry unit may fire, then move. Okay. So you could do a fire to try and pin a unit, and then move another one, fire, then assault. Or one infantry unit may move with +1 movement, ending in an assault, and they get an extra dice added to their assault rolls, which is pretty good. So each of these cards give you little different strategies for tanks, infantry, guns. The red cards are cool because these are called interrupts. So you might be moving, and I go, wait, I'm firing at you. So, or what else have we got? We've got a
There's your red one.
yeah, counterintelligence. I just cancel interrupts. So it ain't so bad. So an infantry unit regains up to 2 men.
Reinforcements card.
Yeah, or a vehicle regains a hit dice. So you get some cute dice in it, and enough counters for the various forces that you need: infantry, tanks, half tracks, lorries, that kind of stuff. So it's a really good little package that we're going to be expanding, and it really is aimed at wargamers who want a shorter game. Dads, mums who've got kids that like playing with classic soldiers, and you go, look, this is your next step. But it's got a lot of depth. It's got morale, it's got assaults, it's got pinning, it's got all those real important things that people look for in good war games. And it plays fast, so it really is like a gateway, I was going to say rob game, gateway war game. So.
All right, very good. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
All right, thank you, Chris. It's good stuff.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys. See you next year. Well, before then, but next year.
Thanks a lot.